Alright gang, welcome back to the Barker Family Farm series, and today we've got a bit of an issue. As you can see in the top corner there, tornado is here. Now it hasn't specifically hit the farm yet. I did go ahead and get Sharon down into the basement of the farmhouse, so that's good, she's safe. But as a normal Midwesterner would do, we have to come out here and take a look at it. And that's what we're going to do. I'm not sure if it's going to hit our land or not, but you can kind of see it over there in the distance. I'm not going to get too close to it. Obviously, we want to relatively stay within reason, but it's out there in the distance. A little hard to see, actually, from this angle, but let's see if we can walk over there a little bit closer. We'll have to go through the creek here. I'm going to get a little wet. It appears that it's kind of going away from our farm, which is good, but although really the only damage we would incur is some of the grass field here. There you go. As you can see, we're getting closer to it. It is arriving, but I do believe it is going away from our farm, so that's good, right? We're not necessarily, hopefully, not have to worry about it. Actually, is it coming closer to us? I don't know. It might be coming closer to us, but anyway, right now, it is not on our land, I guess. So I guess that's the good thing, and it shouldn't harm anything major that we're going to be focused on doing today. We are going to work, even with that tornado looming, and we're just going to keep an eye on it. If it gets close to us, we'll run into the house and get into the basement with Sharon, but she should be okay for the time being. And like I said, we'll just keep an eye on it. I did drive my truck out here because it's a little bit faster, so I figured if I drive out here and it's a lot closer than what the radar was saying, I could get out of here, hopefully, with the truck a little bit faster than I could with utilizing a tractor or something along those lines, right? So, let's see here. Let's kind of head through here this way. Now I'm going to see if I can take care of some of that brush area there that we just kind of drove through. Obviously, that's a little unrealistic to do, but we're going to see if we can take care of it and potentially remove it altogether. As we talked about in the last episode, we've already been kind of giving the A-OK from Sharon for us to be able to put a bit of a track in here towards the front of the house. Not sure why a school bus is out in this weather with a tornado looming. That school bus should be nowhere near the tornado, and it actually is very close to it, in my opinion. But nonetheless, we are going to put a bit of a track through here today. I contacted a couple of individuals. Some of those are actual friends of mine who I went to high school with, who have created their own little landscaping company. They're going to come out later today and put down some gravel for us. So we'll have some gravel coming down. I'm not sure if we're going to have them go the extent here or not, but they are going to put down a little bit of gravel, at least up to the brush here. And then I might deal with the brush a little bit later on today, and then maybe I come out, have them later on. That's when we figure out what we're going to do with this area over here, this land over here. Have them come over here and basically take out the brush area, and so we can actually put a little bit of a track in. Now our track we're going to put in is really going to be kind of in the runoff area for a lot of it. What I mean by the runoff area is I'm talking about the little runoff area for water from the fields and everything else. Not sure the entirety of it will be in there, but some of it will certainly be in there, so there might be a little bit of periods of time when there's a lot of rain, like as the case now, where maybe it would be using your imagination, right, a little bit more overflown, and maybe we can't really drive anything through it, but that's okay. You're really not supposed to be doing a whole lot of work when it's raining anyway. In this case, we are. We're going to get the rest of the clover up off the ground here. Now, it's November. Nothing has regrown here. It could be because it's kind of a winter month now at this point, so maybe we won't have anything here that will grow until, March-ish. But I guess we'll figure that out as we move along. We've got a lot of clover to pick up off the ground here. And we're going to kind of focus on the grass at that point after that. Now, I don't know if the grass can be mowed right now. It may not be able to be mowed. And if it cannot be mowed, then really what we're probably going to end up doing is getting a plow of some sort and start working on maybe making a new field over there. And we'll probably also work on maybe putting up or at least starting to put up some kind of a shed. Kind of extend our yard a little bit over here. I said we were going to make a smaller section of a yard over here in this section at some point, I should say. And that's still kind of the goal here. We're going to kind of aim for that. Because really, our goal here is to try to continue to expand the farm and try to continue the farm moving along as I mentioned in the last episode, while Sharon hopefully finds a buyer. Now, I will say it's been a month since I last left you, right? We were in October when I last left you, so I've been out here doing a lot. Obviously, I haven't been doing anything specifically here, but some other stuff that I had to do around the farm to try to help get it in a spot where it can really be sold. Obviously, the house, it's in okay shape, but it wasn't in the greatest of shape. She obviously hasn't been able to take care of it at her age, and with the kids not really caring or wanting anything to do with it, it has kind of run into a little bit of disrepair. So I've been working around the house, fixing things like that. I was up on the roof trying to fix some shingles and just replacing some different things that need to be replaced. So that's kind of what I've been doing since I last left you. And her health is you can tell she's still okay, but you can tell that her health is declining. So I guess her really absolutely at let's see, let me reword this. She's absolutely at the point of needing to find a buyer here as soon as possible, because I'm not really too positive that her health is going to continue to be in the spirit that she's in now. I have a feeling that it's going to continue to deteriorate, unfortunately. But that's kind of what happens when you get older, right? When you're in your mid-80s, as she is. I mean, your health's going to start declining, right? Things are going to start happening that you're not normally used to dealing with, I guess is how I'll put it. And by that, I mean, things that you typically wouldn't be worried about are starting to decline. Your mind, your body in general, right? Just things like that are not going to be able to keep up as well as they might have in the past. It's a sad thing, but it is life, right? That's what happens, unfortunately, with life. You're not meant to live forever, although that would be a nice and awesome thing to be able to do. You're not really meant to live forever, so. Now, besides just doing the things we mentioned, right? Besides everything else we talked about doing so far today, we do need to do a second application of fertilizer over here on the fields that we did drill or finish drilling in the last episode. And then we got to figure out something to do with this clover, right? We don't have a silo of any means. That's really probably what we're going to be kind of focusing on, is building a little bit of a shed area over here and somewhere to put a silo up. It probably is going to need to be a relatively large silo. We don't really have the money for a large silo, though. So I guess we'll have to figure something out. Maybe we can find some kind of a happy medium between the silo and between a small silo and a large silo, somewhere in the middle, maybe. But we're going to need that for sure. We looked kind of in the last episode, but I've already kind of forgot. I'm not sure when the best time to sell clover is. January, so it's coming up. The price right now is actually not bad at all. $100 or $103. That's pretty good. It might be something we want to consider, right? We might want to consider just selling it outright now to get us some money so we can help pay for the things we want to accomplish, the silo and everything else, right? This grass, to me, does not look like it's going to be able to be mowed yet. Just by looking at it, it appears to me that that's not going to happen, so may not be doing that today, but that's okay. We might have to wait a while. But again, that's a big, massive field of grass back there. That's a huge field of grass. Obviously, you want to try to get some money off of it, but it is weeded grass, right? So it's not the best grass anyway. It's not like it's grass we planted ourselves, so we're not going to get a massive yield out of it. So if we turn it into fields, or prepare it to be fields, I guess, it's not that big of a deal. We're not wasting that much money. We're not losing that much money, I guess. There's another school bus. You guys know there's a tornado right over there, right? There is literally a tornado right over there. And you're taking kids home. Those kids should be either already at home, or they should be at school, hopefully in the basement. Not a lot of schools have basements, I understand that, but hopefully somewhere protected. They should not just be out here within, I don't know what that is. Was it a mile away, maybe, of the tornado? Now, having said that, we know I shouldn't also be doing the farming that I'm doing now, but we live in the Midwest. We're used to tornadoes, right? So as long as we Don't see it come over into our field back there. We should be okay, or at least come into our trees back there. Hopefully it doesn't hit our big tree area back there. That would be devastating for multiple reasons. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the map here and see where it's going, if it has moved at all. Okay, it's not going our way. It's going across this way. That's good. That's really good for us, actually. I was very concerned about that one. Okay, now I need to be careful. I do know there's some kind of an issue here where if I pick up... see how there's some grass down there in that clover? I'm actually just going to leave that be. I'm not even going to touch that. Because I do know there is an issue where, for some reason, if I was to switch from now, if I were to pick up that grass down there, where you can clearly tell there's a difference. Let me jump out here and show you. You can clearly tell the difference. There's the clover, right? This is just grass. If I was to pick up this grass, it will remove everything out of the trailer. It's like a glitch or something. I don't know why. So we don't want that to happen. We've got to make sure we don't do that. I'd rather just waste the tiny bit of clover there, a couple of liters, so we don't have that issue. Anyway, this is a lot of clover we're getting here. As you can see, there's 50,000 liters already. That's a lot of clover. $100 though per 1,000 liters. We're not making a ton of money here, but we're gonna make some good money. We've run into an issue here, gang. I turned around and nothing is now being... What is happening here? I'm going over some clover here and nothing's being picked up and put into the trailer. What in the world? There's definitely some issues with the clover. This is not in regard to the series at all. I'm just talking generic here. There's something wrong with this. I don't know what is happening here. There's still room in the trailer, so it should be able to put the clover in here. But it's not. Why is it not putting it in there now? That doesn't make any sense. What happened? What happened? What? Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what's happened here, gang. Something's wrong. It's not working at all. No matter what I do, I've tried resetting the game altogether. Okay, now it's working. I don't know. That was bizarre. Well, we lost a little bit of clover in the process because of that, but man, that was very, very weird. Very weird. It had to be something to do with this little header thing, this little pickup header. It had to be. So as soon as I unhooked it and hooked it back up, it worked fine. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're moving along. What was I talking about? Oh, well, I wasn't talking about it yet, but I was getting ready to. So I was talking with Sharon, and over the last month, obviously, 2 more school buses. What is going on with these school buses? There's a tornado! Anyway, evidently there's a couple people that have been interested. They haven't really moved to the point of wanting to come and visit the farm, but there are a couple people that her realtor has been talking to. So, there's a chance that we might have a few visitors on the farm here, I guess in the future, that might want to kind of do a bit of a tour of what we own. Hopefully we own more by the time that happens, but there are a couple of people that have at least shown an initial interest into potentially coming for a tour and potentially maybe interested in putting down an offer. Now, are those individuals fully on board with what she wants to do, which is keep the farm as it is? I have no clue. I mean, I think the realtor understands that that is the approach of Sharon, right? That's what she wants to do. But Are we for sure if that's the way they're going to go with the farm? I don't know. I guess the thing is, right, they can say all they want up front, but once the land is actually theirs, I mean, I guess it's theirs, right? At that point, there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. So I guess that's really where it's going to come into play, right? Sharon's going to want to talk to this individual and make sure that that individual wants to keep the land as it is. So I guess that's the next step. So hopefully, in the next coming months here, I mean, it probably won't happen in the winter months, I wouldn't think. Could be wrong, but probably won't happen in the winter months. But I guess that's the next step is here once spring arrives. They might want to come out here and take a look at the farm and see how it's running, see how things are going. So that's really, you know, kind of a test for us, right? We've got to get the farm in tip-top shape for that period of time when people may start wanting to show up to the farm and take a look at it. We're on the last pass here for the clover here. Looks like we're going to get around 80 to 85,000 liters of clover, which is awesome. I'm probably, the more I've thought about it, I'm probably just going to sell the clover outright. It's a $5 difference. It's a $5 difference. We could use the money right now, because right now we're just utilizing my own money, right? So we could use the money. So yeah, I think we're just going to sell this thing outright. So, well, I guess we'll go to the Blumengart Exports, wherever that is. I don't know the map well enough. I don't know the area well enough to know. I was going to say the map. Really, I don't know the area well enough to know where the selling points are. I know the area very well, being in southern Ohio. Use your imagination, being in southern Ohio. But I don't know the sell points. Obviously, I've never really farmed the area in this vicinity, so I don't really know where to go and sell things at. It kind of looks to me like it's in a similar location to where the buying point is, and in all intents and purposes, the store is. But I guess we'll find out. It does need an application of fertilizer, which I guess we can do that today too. So we can do all kinds of second applications of fertilizer today. It will mean we have to buy a few things. I think this is the last bit right over here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In my opinion, we do not need this big, massive machine. I don't see any reason to have this machine. I think we can just get a standard loading type of wagon. I don't think we should keep this machine. I think, personally, we should sell this thing. Because it should bring in a decent amount of money if we do sell this. Now, we'd obviously have to factor in, you know, the cost. There was a bunch of water right there. Do you see that splash? Well, obviously have to factor in the cost of, you know, buying a loading wagon and selling this. And if the price doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, then maybe we do keep it. But at least initially, this is something that I can see us potentially getting rid of and making a little bit of money back. Because as we talked about in the last episode, right, there's some equipment here on the farm, but it's not everything we need, because obviously she has been, or he, Fred, sold it before he passed away, right? Probably knowing that she wasn't going to be able to keep up with the farm, so they've been selling stuff, you know, whenever they need it, I guess. So they don't have everything they need, right? I'm going to use the Case International. I'm going to use what hopefully will end up being our tractor. Just because I love this thing so much. Right. Let's hook up here, and we'll head over to the shop. And we'll sell this. I'm going to go in first-person view. I don't use first-person view all that often. We're going to do it for now until we get out of here. And then I'll probably throw a time-lapse in to head over there and sell it more than likely. So, let's talk about the last episode. For the most part, almost unanimously, I think there's one negative comment, but for the most part, everyone has really been excited and seemed to be enjoying this series, so that's good. I'm happy that we're at that point. I'm ecstatic to do this. I really am. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I actually wanted to do something like this in FS22. Didn't come to fruition. Okay, really, Scarlet? Really? Really? And you're still not gonna go? Oh my lord. Anyway, let's head on to the shop here. Let's make some money here for Sharon, and we'll probably end up utilizing all the money we make for her, but over time we're gonna make more money here as we continue on, right? Alright, we are back here on the farm, gang. Was not as good of a yield as I was expecting, although I should have probably known better, with it being $103 per 1,000 liters. Just don't make a whole lot of money off clover, so yeah, we might be getting rid of that as well. There's just not a whole lot of money there. Matter of fact, I think we probably are going to get rid of that. I don't see any reason to keep that. Obviously, I have to clear everything that I decide to do with Sharon. For the most part, she's not going to say a word from what I've understood. But nonetheless, we are going to have to talk to her about it. I've got to, you know, tell her, hey, I'm planning to get rid of your clover field. She's probably going to be like, I don't care. I wasn't doing any of the farming anyway, right? I was just getting a bit of a cut from the land. From owning the land. Alright. So we don't have a whole lot of fertilizer in here, but we're going to take a shot at it here and hope that this is going to be enough to do most of the fields here. I'm not going to utilize any kind of a steering assist of any sort. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Tornado's still up on the radar there, but it is moving away from us still, so we are good. It was good for us to go ahead and continue working. We didn't really have to worry about it too much. Although, in real life, if you were that close to it, you probably wouldn't. But, I mean, us Midwesterners, we like to stand outside and watch the tornadoes. we don't really move until it's the last moment possible. I don't know why we do that, but we do. I guess it's just because we're so used to tornadoes happening so often, right? And you might be saying, well, Z, you live in Ohio. Tornadoes don't happen that often in Ohio. Well, yeah, I would agree with that, right? I mean, they're not happening as much as they do in Oklahoma or Kansas, right? Or Iowa, I guess, too. They happen quite often there in that vicinity. I'm with you on that, 100%. But we do still get them here in Ohio. We do. They're normally not the equivalent of like a, you know, an F5 or anything like that. I mean, we've had a couple that have been F4s. I think there's been like one F5 in the last 40 years here, but we do get them. The southwestern portion of Ohio is called the Ohio Valley, and that wind, the way that the land is with the cold air from the north and then the warm air from the south, we're susceptible to tornadoes here. We are. But yes, I would agree. We do not get them as much as you know, Oklahoma in that area, Kansas in that area. We don't. But we still get probably a handful a year. Now, some of them are very minor, right? They might be not even classified as an F1. It could just be a funnel, a spinning funnel. But we get them still. Now, November? Yeah, we don't normally get tornadoes in November, so that's a little bit of an odd time to get a tornado, I think. I'm not really sure why the game wouldn't have factored in that it's November and the tornadoes would be far and few between. And with this being, remove your imagination for a minute, with this technically being a Canadian map, Canada I don't think gets tornadoes, like, ever. Maybe I should ask my friend Northern Farmstead. Maybe you guys do get tornadoes, but I work for a company that is half partially in Canada. Now it is Toronto, to be fair, the company that I work for. But I'm pretty sure that they don't ever get tornadoes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me in the comments. Alright, let's see how we did without utilizing any kind of steering assist. Needs rolling. Yeah, we knew that. Okay, we're good on the fertilization. No worries there. I have made the decision. I'm going to go talk to Sharon about it, but I have made the decision that we are going to remove this clover field. Had a bit of a thought while we were doing the fertilization here. I don't see a reason to keep it that way. I think we can make more money by turning it into something else. Now, I do not believe the drill we have is a direct drill, which means we do need to cultivate that field up over there. We don't have a cultivator, so we're going to have to lease a cultivator. Now, it sounded to me like the friends of mine that I told you about that I went to high school with who are going to come by and drop down some gravel for us. I don't think they were going to be here until closer to noon. I'm not sure how long we will be running recording here today, so it may end up happening between now and the next episode. We'll have to see how things move along here. It really depends on how long we are out here working. I got up early today because one, I wanted to look at the tornado because I'm a lunatic, and two, I just wanted to get some stuff done this morning. I like working in the morning. That way I have a little bit later on in the day just to kind of relax and watch the sun go down. With the area that the house is, with the porch there, it's a great spot to watch sunset. Relax, have a drink, have a bourbon. Talk with Sharon a little bit before she goes to bed. Okay, evidently I'm running into something here. Okay, we got it. We got to finally put in there. We have room over there. I don't know why I keep trying to smash it in here, but I do for whatever reason. All right, so let's think about this. What do we really need? If we're going to remove that field, that clover field, and we're going to turn it into a crop field, and if we're going to turn most of that grass field into a crop field, do we really need all the equipment we have? No. It really depends on how much grass we're going to keep, if any. And the way I'm kind of going here, I think we're going to remove the grass fields altogether. I think we're going to make a couple of... Let me just do a bird's eye view. This is going to be easier. Let me get into the drone here. So my vision here is this is going to be one full field. We'll have to cultivate it, and then we can drill over it. It'll be a big field, right? Obviously, this is going to be one of the biggest fields we got, but we'll make this one big field. Over here, my vision is... we're going to add a little bit of a yard with a silo somewhere in this vicinity. I'm thinking probably up against the wall this way. That way it doesn't take, away from the little pond view here. That's what I'm thinking at least right now. Maybe even put it over here in this little awkward, weird section here with the river, or the creek. And then turn this section up here into two different fields. Obviously we have a track and stuff running here to go to wherever the yard and the silo ends up being, but then we turn the rest of it into two different fields. That's how I am envisioning doing this, at least. Obviously, I have to run it by Sharon, make sure she's okay with it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me go talk to Sharon for a minute. Let me see how she feels about my whole approach here, and make sure that she's okay with it, and make sure she's okay with me selling, really, half the equipment we own right now. Selling all of this, selling the windrower, keeping only these two things for now, obviously buying some more. I'm going to keep the Volvo for right now. I'm still thinking that might be smart for us to sell that too and just get some kind of a front loader. But we'll keep it for right now. We'll keep the hoe for right now as well. We've got a lot of honey that spawned here. That's good. Yeah, let's go talk to Sharon. And let me see if I can get that cleared and okayed by her. Okay, I just finished talking to Sharon, and long story short, she said, yeah, I don't care what you do. You can do anything you want. Eventually, I'm going to sell all of the equipment anyway, one way or another, or it's going to be included with the sale of the farm if somebody buys it, hopefully, to keep it as a farm. So, yeah, by all means, if you want to sell something, go ahead and sell it. And if you want to change something because you think it's going to be better fit for the farm, please go ahead and do so. Again, I wasn't doing any of the farm stuff, so you can do whatever you want. I said, all right, okay, Sharon, I'm going to do what I want then, and I'm going to make this this operate really well for you for the time being that I have. So she was happy with that. So, given all that understanding and what we've just talked about, we are going to sell some stuff. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell the pickup for it. I don't think we need this big, massive behemoth thing. I really don't. I think our normal loading wagon would be perfect. And we're also going to sell the probably the windrower, but I'm not going to sell that one today, I don't think. I think we'll hold on the windrower because I do think some of that grass may still be able to be mowed and harvested at some point. Probably before we're ready to do anything in that area. So there's no reason for us to sell it right now. We may end up not doing anything with it at all, and if that's the case, that's fine. It's not a big deal. We just held on to it a little bit longer than we had to. What is happening with the traffic here? What are you guys doing? I mean, the traffic on this map are just morons. Look at them. Look at them just running into each other. Anyway. Now, this thing is, obviously, it's been here for a while. You can clearly tell in the right-hand corner. You don't even have to use your imagination. This is a used piece of equipment that's been utilized for a while. So, we're going to have to do a little service to it. It's going to cost us some money to do that. But in the end, we should make a little bit more money off of it. And this should bring in a pretty penny, because this machine is not like a cheap machine by any means, right? So this should bring us a pretty penny. We will probably talk to the shop owner while we're there and see if they have any deals going on, right? Any used equipment or any deals that maybe it's something that we would want to utilize. Go ahead there, Walter White. I already saw you just jumping right through that stop sign, but to be fair, I did that too earlier. So yeah, we'll sell this thing. We'll see what the shop owner has as far as used or any kind of deals. If it makes sense, we'll pick something up. If not, I'll see you when we get back to the farm. So, slight change of plans. I'm going to show you this before I go ahead and sell this to the owner here. We're getting a lot of money for the equipment we're selling here. I did not realize we were going to get this kind of money. I thought it was going to be closer to the 100, 150,000 range, which, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money too. But we're getting a lot more than that. I did have to use a lot of my money to get us to the point where we are now, where they are in great condition. We serviced them, we repainted them, etc. We're going to get a lot of money. The pickup we're not getting anything for because we leased it, I believe. Yeah, we leased it. So it doesn't really matter. So we'll just return that. But this one, we're going to get $234,854 out of it. That's fantastic. Now, as far as anything in the used market or anything he had on clearance or sale, anything like that, the only thing he's got is this Steyr Absolute CVT. I probably said the name wrong of that tractor, but really nice tractor. Not something we need, though. We've got 2 tractors. We don't need another tractor. We are going to buy, or at least lease, one of the 2. I'm not sure which yet. A plow. So I need to kind of talk to him a little bit more about the plows, and we'll see what we can get. And I will meet you back at the farm. I'm going to probably have him drive me back to the farm, pick up one of our tractors, and come here and pick up the plow. But I'm going to try to continue to discuss and negotiate a plow right now. And if I can't get to a price I want, then we'll just lease it. All right, we are back, gang. We have purchased something. Now, it was not a plow. He did not have anything specific on plows that I felt like it was a good deal. So when the time comes to plow up there, we probably will just lease something. But we got something pretty good. Something that I've never done on the channel for FS25 yet. A new piece of machinery that we haven't utilized yet. And can you guess what that is? A lot of you might be thinking it's a cultivator. It is not a cultivator, although it does basically the same type of a thing. This is a power harrow. So we've got a fantastic power harrow, actually. Let me get to my vehicles here, and I will show you the whole details on it. It's the Kuhn HR6040 RCS. 250 horsepower is required, so really can only be utilized by our cased Puma. It's got a 6-meter working width, which is fantastic. I feel like that's a perfect working width for us. Did cost us around 40 grand, something like that. It's a little less than that. But I thought it was a pretty good deal. 7 mile per hour working speed is also very nice. So I think this is going to work out really well for us. So this is what we decided to go with. We will be utilizing this a lot. And then for whatever we decide to do up here, we'll just have to, like I said, lease or rent or whatever a plow so we can turn it into an actual field. And then moving forward, we can always use this. What do you think, gang? I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a good purchase for us. I think it's a great purchase for us, actually. I like a power harrow, man. The power harrows are pretty cool. Did require wheel weights. We already had wheel weights on the Puma, so we didn't have to worry about that. I was a little concerned that maybe we would need some kind of a weight for the front here of the case, but it is working like a treat. No problem whatsoever. So we're good. So I was okay with this one, right? We ended up, you know, basically netting. Well, I guess after you factor everything in that we did here, we're netting around, what do we have, about 70-some thousand, I think, when we started, right? It was something like that, wasn't it? I think it was that. So like 150 grand, basically, is what we're netting, right? We'll take it. Now, some of that money we can certainly put towards the loan. As you recall, we do have a $250,000 loan. But I think right now, given the circumstances of what we're trying to accomplish here, I think we're going to hold on to the money because we're going to utilize that to put a silo in and extend the yard. And by extend the yard, I mean put a new area of a yard over here behind us. I talked about doing it today in the episode, but we actually are pretty far along today, and I don't want to make the episode too long, so we probably will work on the yard and the silo in the next episode, more than likely. And we're going to kind of focus on turning this into a field for us that we can end up drilling. Now, as far as what we're going to put in here, I haven't fully decided that yet. We are limited on what we can put in here. A couple of things we could potentially do, but we are not going to be able to do it until March at the earliest, right? And March is very limited on what we can put in. I guess we could put oat in March. But yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot we can put in here for a little while. I was thinking a little bit more back here in that area that's a grass field right now. I think what we might end up doing is making more than just 2 fields. Might change my mind once we get to that point, but I might make some smaller fields up there. Reason for that is we might end up trying to do a couple of different things. We'll see, right? You know how much I hate potatoes, but I have kind of a thought maybe we do some potatoes. There have been some new mods that have come out on ModHub that might allow us to do some potatoes for an inexpensive amount. I definitely want to get corn in here at some point. It's going to be a while before that happens. We've got to buy a new drill for that, or lease a drill. And we don't even have a harvester, right? So that's another thing that we have to factor in, right? We've got all this money that we now have. But the problem with all the money that we now have is we've got to spend some of it on a harvester. And harvesters are not cheap, as you know. We can get a smaller harvester. We can always lease a harvester. But really, we'd probably want to own one. I mean, some of these are very small. If you look at the actual land that we currently have, we actually have a lot of land. So we probably want something that's a little bit bigger. It doesn't need to be a massive one by any means, but we probably want at least something that has a 6 to 8 meter width of a header. Or we can at least do a 6 to 8 meter width of a header, right? If we don't have that, I think we're going to be harming ourselves as far as how long it takes to do something. So I mean, you can kind of just go in here and look at the headers here. I guess most of them are 6 meters starting out. Some of the older ones here that we have are 4 meters, right? We want at least 6, I would think, at least. I don't think we're going to be able to go much bigger than that, though, as far as money goes. Perhaps we go with like an 8, an 8.5, or a 7.5 here. That would be nice. Perhaps the 7.5, 7.6 is the way to go. Combination, ooh, that's expensive. Yeah, see, we're not going to be able to afford any of those. We'd have to lease it. Which, again, we can lease it, but we're going to have quite a few fields here going at some point, at least hopefully. We're going to have quite a few fields going here at some point. So we want to make sure we're managing our time well, and I think a 4 meter width is going to take a long time. This power harrow here is 6 meters, and it's still going to take us a long time to do this field at 6 meters, right? So I can't see us going any smaller than 6 meters. It's just going to take too long. Now we're likely to not get this whole field done today before I leave you. Might have to finish it up in the next episode. There's a lot of other stuff around the house and things that I need to help take care of for Sharon. As I've mentioned, I've been working around the house. That's what I was really doing for the last month. I'm going to probably be continuing that process, and it's probably going to be continuing for a while. There's going to be other things that she wants me to do besides just the farming. I'm going to have to do other things as well. And really, the nice thing is right now we kind of have the time, right? We're getting all these fields prepped and ready to go, but we can't put anything in there right now, right? There's nothing we can put in there until, well, I mean, it's not even March, right? Well, I guess March was oats, right? So I guess we can do something in March. But really, March is the earliest, right? So we've got a couple of months here, almost a handful of months that we're not really going to be able to do a whole lot besides set all the fields up and get them prepped and ready to go anyway. So it's a good time for me to try to help fix the house up for her a little bit, so that's in good shape too. Because obviously when somebody buys this, if they're going to buy it with the intention of keeping it as a farm, they're going to want the farmhouse to be in good shape as well. And it's not specifically falling apart, but it has some issues. As I mentioned, I was up on the roof fixing a couple of shingles that were in bad spot. I need to fix some of the gutters. The gutters probably need to be redone from the ground up, honestly. They need all brand new gutters. I'm going to do that myself. I'm not... Obviously, we're trying to do everything we can myself here. All right, we're making good progress. I actually just ended up getting a phone call on the process of doing this from a friend from high school. Said he's going to be here closer to 1 o'clock after around or after lunch, I guess, depending on which way you look at it. I think what we're going to do here, gangers, we're going to end the episode at this point. I'm going to finish the last strip here. I'm going to head up into the house. I'm going to grab some lunch, too, before they get here. And then between now and the next episode, we should have a new track put down to take us from the current shed that we have and where most of our equipment is all the way to over here. So excited to see that progress. Thanks so much for continuing to watch and continuing to support. Appreciate it a lot. Means a lot to me. And yeah, we'll pick this up in December. See you next time.